If you follow me on my vlog channel, or if you follow me on Instagram or Twitter at all, you'll know that obviously I am now blonde. And I've gotten a ton of questions lately about how I specifically achieved this level of blonde from where I was before. So in this video, I'm actually just gonna kind of walk you guys through the process of how I achieved this level of blonde. If you're not already subscribed to the vlog channel, I pretty much do the entire process on the vlog, so you can kind of see that all take place. But if you don't want to subscribe, that's totally fine. You're gonna see little tiny clips of the vlog channel right down here that kind of show you exactly what I'm doing as I talk through it. And right over here, you're gonna see a little annotation with the skipping guide. So if you're not really interested in my hair history or anything except for how I can achieve this level of blonde, utilize the skip function right there, and you guys can kind of just skip ahead to where I actually talk about how to do this. The title of this video is kind of ironic because there really is no healthy way to go blonde, which is why I left healthy in quotes. The only really healthy way to go blonde is if you were born blonde and you just kind of let your natural hair color grow in. Unfortunately, for most of us, that is not really an option. So I'm gonna explain to you guys how I went blonde the healthiest way that I could. What specifically I did to ensure that this whole process was about as healthy as I could is I waited for as much time as possible in between bleach sessions, and I did a ton of deep moisturizing treatments on the days that I didn't do anything harmful to my hair. Doing those two things will get you blonde in about the healthiest manner that's possible. Bleaching your hair damages it. There's no way around it. But that being said, bleaching your hair the proper way won't make it fall out. It won't totally destroy your hair. Like I was terrified before I did this because I thought I was gonna ruin my hair. I thought that that's just what bleach did. It just ruins hair. It didn't ruin my hair. My hair is actually pretty healthy considering I bleached it total like 4 times. 2 actual bleach sessions and then 2 bleach baths. So I'm gonna explain that all in a minute, but basically what I just wanna throw out there is you don't have to be scared of bleach. You don't have to be worried about it. If you do it the proper way, you'll be fine. Obviously, I'm not a hairdresser at all. I'm just somebody who doesn't really like to pay somebody to do something I could do myself. So that's why I did it at home, and I'm gonna explain to you guys right now how you can do it at home as well. I've been coloring my hair since I was about 16 or so, maybe even younger. I started out with just kind of highlights, and then I gradually started to do more different things. Like I went darker, and then I went like reddish for a really long time. But right before I went blonde, I hadn't colored my hair in months, and so I had about maybe like 4 or 5 inches of virgin hair at the actual top of my head. The rest of my hair was kind of this caramely reddish brownish color, which was not my natural color. My natural color was what was on top of my head, which is kind of I would say maybe a level 5 ashy brown. If you're starting out with like darker hair or even like medium dark hair, you have to understand that it's not going to take 1 bleach session to get to the color, like this color. To achieve this color, I had to bleach it a total of 2 times, and then I did 2 bleach washes, but I'll get into that in a second. And then on top of that, you have to tone it, which is also a little bit more product that I'll jump into in just a sec. The greasier hair is when you bleach your hair, the better off your hair will be, simply because that extra oil and grime that kind of builds up over the days kind of helps protect your hair shaft from the chemicals that you're about to be applying to your hair. And I also suggest coconut oil just as an extra moisturizing step for when you're bleaching your hair. I read a lot online that it actually helps enhance the actual brightness and bleaching effects, but I don't have any scientific evidence that backs that up at all. I just like using coconut oil when I bleach my hair because it helps protect the hair even more. After each bleach session that I did, I ended up wearing hair masks to bed and then waking up and rinsing it out. So several days in a row I did that. Make sure you load up on products that are super moisturizing for your hair, and I would suggest sleeping in them, like putting on a hair mask, wrapping it up in like either a plastic bag or a processing cap and just going to bed with it in, so it actually like has 12-ish hours to kind of penetrate your hair that you just fried. The first bleach session, I think I had waited like 4 or 5 days without shampooing my hair, so my hair was pretty greasy, it was pretty grimy at the time. I went to Sally's and I got I think it was the Ion Lightener. I started out with just the packets that they have. You can get like packets of lightener. I realized a packet or two was not enough for my hair, I needed to get the entire tub. If you have hair that is at least this long, I would definitely say getting a tub, because it's just, you're gonna be doing this a couple of times and it's more cost effective to get the tub than it is to get the individual packets, like 50 of them. I also picked up the Wella T18 toner, and I think I actually got 2 of those. I got the T18 toner, but then I also got the T11, I think it was just a pale blonde. I also got a big tub, like a big jug of both 20 volume developer and 30 volume developer, because I didn't know what I was going to be using. I might as well get both because it's really cheap. The developers are super cheap, and those were also the Ion brand. Make sure you have latex gloves and a brush and a bowl that you can mix all this stuff together, and then you just kind of jump in. What I did was I mixed the bleach with the developer, so it was the consistency of pancake batter. That's what I read was the most effective consistency, but I guess it's more of a preference thing than anything else. The drier it is, the longer it's going to take to develop, and the more runny it is, it's harder to work with, but it develops a little bit faster, is what I've heard. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I've heard. So I mixed it to the consistency of pancake batter, and I started with a strand test, which is super important just so you know exactly how long your hair takes to develop. When you're working with bleach, you want to always start from like the mid shaft down from your hair to the very ends. You want to leave like the roots and the upper parts for last, because they develop a lot faster than the stuff at the ends. I let the strand test from like the ends to the bottom, or to the mid shaft to the bottom. I let that sit for I think about a half an hour, and then, no, I think it was more like 20 minutes, and then I did the roots for another 10 minutes on top of that, and then I just shampooed it out and dried it, and the result was a little bit orange, but that's kind of exactly what you're shooting for with the first bleach session. After I knew what I was in for with the strand test, then I pretty much just did my whole head. I think I started with the bottom layer first, and at this point I was still using the packets and I didn't have the tub of bleach. So we had to I did the bottom half, and then we had to do like an emergency run to Sally's before it closed and got more bleach, because it was really awkward just running around with like half my head bleached and the other half not bleached. After the bleach had been sitting for total all around about 30 to 40 minutes total, I rinsed it out, I shampooed it, and then I conditioned it. I slept in a crazy hair mask, and then that was pretty much it. I did a hair mask. I slept in a hair mask consistently for about 3 or 4 days, and then I immediately bleached it again after 4 days had passed. You want to wait as long as possible between bleach sessions, just to kind of like give your hair a chance to breathe and give it life again, because it takes a long time. It takes a long time to do it the healthy way. After those 4 days had passed and I slept in hair masks for those 4 days, I bleached it again. This time I used coconut oil. I coated my hair in coconut oil, and I let that sit in my hair for about like 3-ish hours before I bleached it, just to give it a chance to really penetrate my hair shaft and really get in there to help moisturize and protect it. I just repeated the same process before. I think this time I tried to do it with a 20 volume developer instead of 30, but it just didn't lighten as much as I wanted to, and so I ended up using a 30 volume developer. After I had bleached it, I shampooed it out, and I didn't condition it because I was planning on toning it. I used the Wella T18 toner with a ratio of 2:1 with the 20 volume developer that I picked up. I started at my roots, and I just kind of painted it all the way down my hair. And it does turn your hair purple while it's developing, but that's kind of the point, because what the toners basically do is it kind of counteracts it. It's purple, so it counteracts yellow tones in your hair. And then I let that sit for about 30 minutes or so. Then I rinsed it, shampooed it, and moisturized it, conditioned it, let it dry, and then I ended up trimming it a little bit because the ends were getting a little bit drier than I wanted it to be. I waited about a week or week and a half with that hair, and then I did a bleached bath. I picked up a new tub of bleach. I was using the Ion brand before, but this time I heard a lot of good things about Prism Lights, so I got the Prism Lights bleach in violet. Color really doesn't make that much of a difference at all. In my experience, it didn't make a difference at all. I mixed that bleach with a 30 volume developer as I did before, so it was like the consistency of pancake batter, and then I mixed about double that with shampoo. I had the bleach mixture is probably about half of the purple tub that I was using, and I pretty much filled it all the way up to the top, rest of it with shampoo. And if you are going to be using a shampoo, make sure the shampoo you're using is either white, like I used a white one, and I I wouldn't suggest white, I would suggest a clear shampoo. If there's any sort of color to the shampoo, it has the tendency, it could possibly stain your hair that color, and that's exactly what I didn't want. So if you're gonna be using a bleach bath, make sure you get a shampoo that's clear or white, and really white, like not with any sort of like tones to it. It has to be white. I used the Organics coconut milk shampoo and filled it all the way up to the top, mixed it in, and it was like the consistency of flubber. It was really weird. It was bouncy, but it was really stretchy at the same time. It was so weird. The reason I did a bleach bath this time was that I heard that it was a lot more gentle because you're basically diluting the bleach down. So at this point, I wanted to be really gentle with my hair because I didn't know like my hair's limit. I didn't know what I was doing, and I wanted to be as gentle as I could. So I used a bleach bath. I used shampoo. You can also use conditioner, but make sure your conditioner, again, is white with no tones to it. Otherwise, it has a tendency to stain your hair. I applied the bleach bath mixture the same way that I did regular bleach. I started with like mid-shaft down, let that sit for probably like 20-ish minutes or so, and then I did my roots. I let that sit for another 10 minutes, and I looked like a purple monster. I rinsed it and I shampooed it, and then I got out and I toned it like I did before with the Wella T18 toner. I slept in another hair mask, and then I waited 10 days. I did a bleach bath number 2, exactly like I did before. I mixed up the lightener with the developer, 30 volume developer, until it was the consistency of pancake batter. I added in more shampoo until it was like flubber all over again. I let it sit on the orangey spots of my hair. I had a couple stripes right on top of my head that were a lot darker than the rest of my hair, and so I let the bleach bath sit on those pieces for 10 minutes starting out. And once those 10 minutes had passed, I added it to the mid-shaft down to the ends, let that sit for 20 minutes, and then for the remaining 10 minutes, I did my roots and everything closer to my head. Total, on the pieces where it sat the longest, it had been on for about 40 minutes or so, but most of it had been sitting for about a half an hour. After that, I rinsed it, I shampooed it, and I dried it. I didn't condition it at all, and it felt so dry, simply because I didn't condition it when I got out of the shower. I think the problem with the Wella toners with me was that my hair wasn't light enough when I was using them, and because of that, the toner just didn't really stick all that well on my hair. So this time I did something a little bit different. I basically got that purple tub out again. I mixed a huge amount of conditioner with 3 different Manic Panic dyes, a blue one, a purple one, and an actual like toner one. The conditioner was actually a yellow color, and so as I said before, yellow is counteracted by purple, so I added a ton of conditioner that was yellow. I kind of canceled it out with the purple dye, the Manic Panic dye, just a tiny bit. And then I added a little bit too much blue dye to that, and so I added more conditioner, and then I added the toner, the Virgin Snow. So the conditioner mixture kind of turned into a light bluish gray, and I had probably a cup and a half total of the mixture because I wanted to coat my entire head with it. I did a strand test. I think it was, this piece back here, which is definitely a little bit bluish gray now because that's where I did the strand test. Strand test ended up being a little bit too much gray for my taste, so I added a ton of white conditioner to it. You can use any white conditioner as long as it's white. And I diluted it with that a little bit, and then I applied it to the rest of my hair. And I got the color finally that I wanted, which was this color, what you're seeing right now. So yesterday I slept in a deep conditioning treatment, and this is the finished result of all of that. And I'm actually really happy with how it turned out all in all. Considering the amount of horrible things I ended up doing to my hair, it's actually in pretty decent condition. I would have probably applied coconut oil to my entire head before I bleached it the first time. I didn't do that the first time, I did it the second time, and I think it did make a difference in the overall condition of my hair. I would not have toned it after the second time bleaching it because it didn't really do much of anything because it wasn't light enough. There is no point in toning your hair if it is not light enough. The color of your hair has to be the color of the inside of a banana, a very pale yellow. And at that point, then you can tone it and you should see some results. But my hair was just not light enough, and so toning it kind of wasted time, and I used that 20 volume developer, which isn't that harsh on my hair, but considering it didn't really do much, I probably shouldn't have done that. I would have checked the color of the conditioner before buying it when for the actual, with the Manic Panic dyes, I would have double checked and made it white. Tresemme makes a cheap white conditioner that many people use, so that's something you can look into if you're wanting to do this yourself. If I could do it all over again, I would have bought a mirror, a hand mirror, because I didn't have one until the last bleach bath, and it would have made my life so much easier getting the back because I was doing it all myself. That's pretty much it. If you have any other questions, then be sure to send me a message or contact me on any of my social media, whether it be Instagram or Twitter or here. If you want to leave a comment down below, then please do so if you have any questions. And I will be sure to get back to you, assuming you have your Google Plus enabled so that I can reply to you, because that's been an issue lately on my vlog channel. I can't reply to half the comments that are left because there's something with the Google Plus that isn't allowing that to happen. So make sure that I can reply to you. If you haven't been keeping up with our vlogs, we are participating in Vlogmas, where you can kind of see how we're preparing for the holidays, and we're just actually about to go home for Christmas, so you can kind of meet our families if you're interested in that. That link is in the description bar below to our vlog channel. I hope this was informative for you guys if you're wanting to go blonde at all, this kind of shade of blonde. If you have any questions, then be sure to let me know and I'll try to help you out. I hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for more videos. Bye!